Hey guys, Philip with Trade Genius here, and welcome to your crypto update for August 2nd. Wanted to get into the charts for today, so let's take a look. What we have up is the ES chart, and again, we haven't really moved much. As you can see, notice these settlements. That's the settlement price after the futures close, and you notice we're just kind of grouping together here. We're not really moving much day to day. So, and that's just if you look back here this other week, this prior week, you notice that same thing. We're just kind of grouped together. So what that's telling us is that any kind of drift move away from settlement is just building pressure to be faded back to settlement. So like today we'd be looking at 2480 on ES or 2464.50 for a move back. So those would be like our fade levels for today. But it's pretty controlled movement. Doesn't feel real organic in the market at the moment, but that's kind of the environment we're in. So, and we do know that, so we just trade the charts, and that's all we can do. Now, NASDAQ reported last night, which shot up the, Apple reported, which shot up NASDAQ, and so we had a big bump, and we actually hit over one deviation in the Globex session overnight. Hard to say, you know, these types of moves can keep running, so we'll see what the market sentiment is for NASDAQ and tech in general, but Apple did have a good report, so could this run higher? Yeah. That would buck the trend though of staying up for the day. Again, they just, like you can see the previous day, it's just we get some separation and it's right back down to settlement or close. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what they do today with NASDAQ. I don't know if we'll have any signals on it, but again, we'll tweet those out as necessary. All right, let's take a look at FX, and let's switch over to FX. Pound yen getting pretty frothy. We might have a fade there. As you can see, the yen starting to get to levels on the yen futures where we'd be looking to fade. Again, we're in a low VIX environment, so we're kind of looking at our low VIX channels, which are a bit wider. When we're in a low VIX environment, we're going to see moves that kind of run longer than normal. We don't get a lot of the up and down movement like we'd see. Like if you look here at the EG, that's a lot more typical on a higher VIX environment. Whereas if you look at something like actually like the pound yen on a higher VIX environment, this would probably provide us with a swing at the money swing, shorter time period. But really what we want to see is like another leg up, and then we start looking to fade that for a longer time period. That's just the nature of the beast with the VIX being as low as it is. So yeah, so the pound yen looks to be something we might tweet out soon. Other than that, we are in that weekly euro short, and it's not wanting to give up the goose yet. Our number is a little bit below this low here, but that's, you know, I think once that takes that out, I think we run down to low 1700. So we're still watching that for a breakdown essentially, so hanging tight on there. It's a Wednesday, we got Thursday and Friday to go on that. All right, let's take a look at the commodity space. Oil bounced nicely off the bottom of the channel. We were looking at getting long any bounces. I haven't seen, we got a report coming out here in about an hour, so let's see what happens there. I would be keen to fade any bounces, but I'm gonna see what the reaction is. Silver's had some strange price movements. Again, it's at the bottom of the channel, so that is looking like a buy the dip type of move. But as I was saying this week, I wouldn't be surprised if silver and gold, for that matter, had pulled back some. So I'm not as eager this week as I was last week to buy the dips, but we'll keep an eye on silver for the next 24 hours. Elsewhere in the commodity space, copper is just kind of bobbing up and down here within this channel area, and corn and soy are not at any extremes that we'd fade right at the moment. So again, these are all your Nadex commodity instruments. Real quick, let's look at the dailies. And as you can see, ES, we like to fade ES outside these channels. 2480 would get us interested in that. Notice here yesterday we talked about on the yield curve. The yield curve is really making some strange moves down steeply, and we are getting a divergence from. So this is what I talk about looking at as far as warning flags. So that's interesting. You don't see yield curve move down quite that fast usually. So to me, that's a warning flag on ES, and so we'll keep tabs on that. But if this continues, now this could continue for a day or two more, and then you see like maybe a 10 or 15 point ES correction. So just keep that in mind. One last thing we'll look at is VIX. Again, talk about these spike intervals. Not really seeing it. What we will see though is probably the VIX getting smashed down here again. As you get, the days are typically just, you see how we have these wicks, right? And this is a very typical scenario of what goes on during the day. Opens higher, it gets smashed down. Opens higher, it gets smashed down. So that is part of the dynamic we're seeing today, these days, with the muted market always closing around flat, and they're just, they're pushing VIX at historic lows. So will this end? Yeah, and it will end up with you waking up and VIX will be at like 32 or something ridiculous. So kind of a dangerous game, but it is what it is. So we are just trading the charts. Again, looking at the VIX relative to the FX volatility indices, not much has changed this week, although the British pound volatility index does seem to be rising a little bit more every day. So we'll see. I'm sorry, the euro. This is the euro. It has been moving up on us every day, just about. So what you don't want to see there is if that gets too far ahead of the VIX, then what happens is you have more volatility in the FX and the space of the Nadex premiums. You're not getting the premium that you should for that risk, because Nadex goes off of the regular VIX for their premium algorithms as far as risk goes. So we get in those environments, then we know that might not be ideal for gaining premium for like the Euro USD, for example. So we're seeing a little bit of that here, but blue line is the yen, and this like salmon line is the pound, and don't really see anything like that there with those pairs. So that's just another dynamic to keep in mind when you're trading the Nadex FX pairs. All right, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have an excellent Wednesday of trading. Haven't had any high probability plays this week yet, but that should change. We probably get a couple hopefully today, so we'll look for those to go out later in the day. Other than that, guys, that's it. We'll catch you on the next update. Have a great Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.